So great buzz, great energy, and wonderful ambience. It's my honor, it's my privilege to have a very distinguished panel sitting with me. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is MK Datta. I'm a computer scientist. I particularly work on artificial intelligence, have some experience working with healthcare technologies, developing AI models for healthcare, particularly imaging, biomarkers, and currently multimodal. I work in Amit University. I'm the director for Center for Artificial Intelligence, Amit University, Noida. So I will request the panelists to introduce themselves for in a couple of lines. So that will be better. So from left, Professor Sujit from SGPGI, Professor Nidhi from Indira Gandhi Technical University of Women, Professor Chandan Das, a very distinguished person from AIMS Delhi, Professor Chufal, and Dr. Alu. So I'll request you to sir a couple of lines from your side. Just a couple of lines about your place and your work interests.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sujit Gautam. I'm Professor, Department of Anesthesiology at SGPGIMS. My area of interest is chronic pain management, and presently I'm working in an ICMR project to develop AI model to diagnose chronic pain conditions to help diagnosis of these conditions at the level of the primary care at our primary healthcare level.
Good evening, all of you. I am Professor Nidhi Goyal, and I am a professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University. I've been working in the area of deep learning and AI since last few years, guided almost 6 PhDs in medical domain with AI and have several BTech projects and all. Currently, I'm handling a project with AIMS Delhi on gastroenterology department on wireless capsule endoscopy.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Chandan. I'm a professor of radiology in Department of Radio Diagnosis Intervention Radiology in AIMS, New Delhi. So my research area is cancer imaging, and we have worked for the last 4 or 5 years on AI and machine learning, and working with Dr. Malay, Amit University and IIT Delhi. We're working on gallbladder cancer modeling, detection, prognostication, then kidney cancer, prostate cancers, and we're working on colorectal cancers also.
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Kundan Singh Chofal. I'm basically from Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute. I am heading the department. I'm basically the chief of radiotherapy services for thoracic as well as sarcoma and lymphoma malignancies. We have been doing research using AI for maybe last 5 or 6 years down the line, and we have almost 40% of our publications are AI based publication. For the last 5 years we have published more than 25 peer reviewed papers in major journals, and one of the leading paper is where we have actually that's the best use of AI, where we have actually curtailed the time for the patients from 3 days to 1 day. There is one way of assessing patients where we actually decide what kind of treatment we are going to give to the patient on the basis of 3 days of assessment. So what we did is, on the basis of 1 day of assessment, we cut short and we could predict that this patient is eligible for that treatment or not. So this is something actually which has helped us. So yeah.
Very good evening to everyone. And thanks, Dr. Datta, for having us on this panel. So I'm Dr. Alok Sharma. I head the R&D services and the Department of Renal Pathology and Electron Microscopy at Dr. Lal Patla. As you must be the largest diagnostic service provider in the country. And with that scale, we get a lot of responsibility to stay ahead of the curve, right? And AI is one area which we are very actively working, trying to get new modalities which deploy AI into routine diagnostics, which can be used for patient care. And we've been working across industry as well as academia. So a lot of academic collaborations we have, where we are actively building great solutions, AI-based solutions, which will soon see the day of the light into routine diagnostic practices. And it's wonderful to be here on this panel and looking forward to the discussions. Thank you.
So, so it's great to have such a distinguished panel. And interestingly, you see, we have people from all domains. You have a chronic pain expertise. You have a radiology expertise. You have a oncology expertise. You have somebody from the pathology, the histopathology expertise. So it's a great thing. And Nidhi is an engineer, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a half doctor by the time I'm spreading. Because, interestingly, I'm guiding one doctor in King George Medical University in PhD. So, well, we have some time constraints also. So we'll start the discussion quickly. I'll request the panelists to keep their views short because your views are very important. Let's start with the simple questions. I mean, you are doctors. You are all very successful. You are very, distinguished doctors, except Nidhi. Nidhi will talk about the engineering part. So my first question to the doctors here is, how do you think AI is going to help you? Uh, Let us keep it very simple. In your, maybe you can use your own use cases, maybe you can use your own areas. The question is simple: how do you see AI is going to help you? Maybe current times and maybe in future. So I'll request you to keep it short and have your opinion. Maybe we can start from Sujit sir. And Nidhi, you will talk at last. Yeah.
Well, healthcare services usually work in the form of a team. So, to begin with, when a patient goes to a clinician, it identifies the condition based on a few set of clinical features which are present. Then there is a kind of a diagnosis is made, and to confirm the diagnosis, a few investigations, radiology, imaging, and blood investigations are asked. Now, based on all this information, a diagnosis and treatment planning is done. And if we look at artificial intelligence contributes to this team approach, thereby diagnosing it more accurately and in a more shorter period of time. So whatever delays are there and with more accuracy, AI is going to help, because what AI does is that it identifies, it looks at the data and looks at the pattern in which the data is being present, and also it correlates the huge set of data which is given to it. So at the end, we have got a more accurate clinical diagnosis, and also with as the time is evolving and models are evolving, the AI is also offering individualized treatment, that which particular patient is going to have more optimum relief and positive aspects to the therapy with which particular treatment.
Yeah, very, very insightful things. Very insightful comments for the young listeners. You can take the points. Next, Anand sir, maybe you can have some input from Dr. Chandra.
Yeah, I can give you a clinical perspective on this issue. For example, if somebody is like having a pain abdomen and going into the to see a doctor in the outpatient department or in the emergency. So once the doctor entered the symptoms of the patient, and if something added, some blood investigations are added there or into the system, the AI will then automatically tell you which investigations to perform basically. For example, if the patient has got a acute abdomen, pain abdomen, or then the AI model will tell the you have to do an ultrasound first. Or if the patient has got some discomfort in taking breathing, so it will tell that you can go for a CT scan or something, some other blood biomarkers, some so that you can to suspect some clogging in your like blood vessels. So by this way, it will cut off the the waiting period. So patient will unnecessarily will not go into other investigations. So then after doing like once you enter now, say the patient has gone in to do a CT scan or an ultrasound. So after doing the scan, then the AI will help you out. Basically, what happened? For example, X-rays. These days we do a lot of X-rays like 300, 400 X-rays, but we do not have that much of doctors to all the read those X-rays. So for us, AI, what will they just flag it's normal or abnormal. So what happened? The normal scans we do not see. The abnormal comes into hardly 20%. Then we see the 20%. Then we find out these are the problems. So that saves us a lot of time. So for us, AI is a force multiplier. So it not only helps in our diagnosis, but it saves lot of time.
Yeah, I think very insightful comments from Dr. Chandan. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Maybe Dr. Chufal. I think I can tell Dr. Chufal is a half engineer because he himself is using some GPUs in his home and training models, right?
Yeah, not really. Basically, you are the engineer, so we are the clinician, domain expert. So both are equally doing their job at their own pace. I would keep it simple. Like for doctors or for a medical fraternity, so there are three important things which AI is helping us. It is basically seeing better, deciding better, and working faster. So making our workflows more fast. Seeing better, as Dr. Chandan has already told you. So it is helping in an immense way in radiology. The way it has made inroads into radiology, I don't think 10 or 20 years down the line we would have imagined. Deciding is clinical decision support system. Still, we are working on it. So I have been a part of few startups where I've been like their domain expert kind of a thing. So we are working on that part, but there is still a lot of work has to be done, especially when it comes to a clinical decision support. So we cannot give everything to AI to decide what kind of decision we have to take. So it can actually help us as an assistant, where always a doctor in loop is always there, and it can, as Dr. Chandan has already told you, it can scale up the things. Like if without an assistant you are seeing a patients, you can only see 10 patients in a day, and then you can take some fruitful judgments. But with the help of AI, probably you can see 20 patients and 25 patients and still do a better job. So that is where it is helping. And finally, the faster workflow. This is where everything now, the major inroad is in this particular arena, like the the documentation part, where you can actually do the summarization kind of a thing. Like the patients come with lot many documents, and there's one doctor whose job is to see patients. He's sitting there in the OPD and just juggling through all the documents and spending half an hour or 45 minutes to go through each and everything and maintaining a case report. So that can be done in hardly 2 to 3 minutes. So those kind of solutions are already there in the market. So this is the area where it is like helping in a very fast and a rapid way, and it is almost validated in these areas. Other than that, still we are still hoping that it will help us in future. Yeah.
Okay, last maybe we can have from Dr. Alok. I think your perspective will be a little different. You come from a different background.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's not really different, but I would reiterate the point. So there was a common theme here in which you kind of realize both the speakers did. It kind of reduces the effort you would need to actually make on areas which you are supposed to work, right? So this is a concept of triaging, which works very well for pathology, especially when you work in a very high volume setup. I'll give a clinical example for this. When we face it as a routine diagnostic large volume setup, we have almost 50 cases of gallbladder resections which come to our department every day, right? And all 50 will not have cancer. They do not need equal time from a pathologist. So what AI does here is kind of screens it for us and tells us these are the 8 cases which you kind of need to look more intensely into. So this triaging is a fantastic area where AI has actually helped us a lot, and it allows the experts to give more time to cases which deserve more time. And it's a great clinical add-on, and it actually translates into great results going forward. Second thing, if as a pathologist, if you ask me, when we look at pathology slides, another thing, I'm only talking about histopathology. I'm not talking about the data science, which is another domain of pathology where AI has played a great role. Is again, there is a lot of interobserver variability. So what I see as a histopathologist and somebody else sees as a histopathologist, there is always a very subtle difference of opinion in a lot of cases. And that is the reason a lot of patients, when you come, you go for second opinions, right? So second opinion is something where there is a difference of opinion between two experts looking at the same thing. And what AI has done here, because it is looking at standardized sets, it's trained on standardized sets, it has kind of significantly reduced the interobserver variability. So when a pathologist sees, and if you have an AI trained algorithm which is seeing the case simultaneously, it's like a second expert seeing the case at the same time. So that interobserver variability is reduced, and it kind of does a lot of mundane work which a pathologist has to do, like counting mitosis, counting number of cells. So these are so that we can put our energies more into more fruitful work. So these are areas which really AI has made a lot of impact into diagnostic pathology, especially from our perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. So he comes from an R&D center where he's dealing with the country's highest pathology, and the diagnostics that they're doing. Thank you for very interesting insights. Now, the next question I go, because there is a no. I'll before I go to the next question, you can see there's a timer also ticking, so we have to stick to that. Now, before I go to the next question, yeah, Nidhi, maybe you can summarize and no, I didn't leave you. Actually, I have. You can actually tell from your AI point of view, how you integrate them, how you scale it up, because doctors have been talking about the clinical point of view. How do you look at as an AI, architect, how
Yeah.
you go ahead with that? Yeah.
As an AI engineer and as a common human being, all of you are aware that AI is helping us a lot. I guess all the doctors are sitting over here. They are facing a problem that the patient that comes, he or she is in a half doctor himself or herself, because they'll go to the chat GPT,
There's
put
a
up their
Google.
symptoms and ask. So they just want the doctor to, verify what they are saying is correct or not. Actually, they are asking the chat to verify the chat GPT. So AI is already helping us a lot. But the problem is we cannot follow it blindly. Doctors are not happy with chat GPT. I must tell everyone, if you disagree with me, you can just raise it out. So they're not happy with the usage of chat GPT per se for the diagnosis, because AI is evolving and still in testing and training phase. What a doctor can tell, his or her experience cannot be, removed or by the chat GPT. So AI is already helping, and in the next 10 years, we'll see that AI will be a very virtual assistant to the doctor and will ease out the tasks that the doctor does. For example, the sir said the accuracy or the diagnosis, the reduction of time, all these things AI will be able to help. Just example, the project that I am handling with AIMS, it deals with 8 hours video, almost a lakh of images, which a doctor takes almost 4 hours to, go through and find out what is the problem, and on the first hand, is there a problem at all? By using deep learning and AI, we have reduced that time to those 1 lakh frames to almost 20 frames. Now the doctor can take out 2 minutes, 3 minutes, check those 20 frames and find out what is the problem. So this is the power of AI, and this will become more evident and, more visible in our lives in the years to come. Thank you.
Okay, so very interesting points made by Dr. Nidhi. Now we go to the next question, and see, like if you ask me, I have some experience with working with doctor. Like I'm already working with Dr. Sujit said, we are working in a ICMR project, working with Dr. I think I'm working with all doctors here. Also work with many ICMR labs like ICMR Nirvi. I have a big database of 56 lakh patients. We are doing a virus diagnostics with NIHNI. Dr. Rizwan was supposed to come here. Some reason he could not come. Now my next question to the doctors will be, and maybe Nidhi will sum it up like. mm, See, India is a diversified country, and still the healthcare is we are not up to the mark. We should accept. So, how do you think AI is going to make some kind of early diagnostics intervention? Because I'm particularly talking about the screening mechanism. So, can AI help as a diagnostic tool for screening? Because cancer diagnostics or any critical disease, if it is diagnosed at an early stage, the chances of recovery are better. So, my question to the panel is, how do you think AI is going to help for early diagnostics? If you're maybe I'll request you to keep your response particular to the context of India, so we can start from that side. I think this time, yeah, and we'd like to keep you brief points that the timer is already ticking.
Yeah, of course. We'll keep note of that. Thank you. So that's a great question. Actually, that's one of the main aims or one of the main important measurable outcomes of impact of AI in healthcare is kind of predictive. So we know that medicine is moving from a diagnostic perspective to a predictive perspective. So right now we say, what do you have, right? And going forward 7 or 10 years down the line, we would be asking your doctor, what will I have in future? So that's the predictive power of diagnostics, and the main enabler of that whole transformation is artificial intelligence. I'll give an example. So if I take my specialty as pathology as a specialty, so once we train, so let me tell you, so one very important reason why this whole domain of AI in pathology has developed is because of whole slide imaging. So once you start scanning these slides as digital slides, they become a great source for doing any kind of study based on artificial intelligence or any algorithms going down. So that's the basic building block of artificial intelligence. Once you train your slides a large number of cases, so you can you can develop predictive powers on them. So based on the patterns and the recognition patterns which the AI can have, so already there are a lot of algorithms coming in diagnostic practice which are kind of predicting what disease you may have in future by looking at a slide which actually does not have the feature at this point of time, but it has been trained by thousands and thousands of slides that tell you that this particular subtle feature is a marker of early disease onset. And not only in cancer, this is even done in chronic cases like diabetic nephropathy, for example. So if there are a lot of patients who get biopsied or even whoever data, a lot of tests you get done as a diabetic, even that data which lies with a lot of diagnostic company like us, we have huge data. We use that data to train the models, and those models can predict what kind of complications of diabetes you are going to have. And a lot of these algorithms are being created as scores. You must have seen, you maybe as a common man, you may have seen the cardiac score, the health score, the risk score. So this is the actual outcome of doing AI in pathology, where the risk score is a predictive risk scores are being developed. And I'm sure a lot of my panelists here would agree that as an we accumulate more data, these predictive algorithms are going to get stronger and stronger by the day. And for that, we have to kind of break our silos, not work in silos, but kind of share our data. I remember in the previous discussion, there was a talk about sharing the data. But unless the ecosystem partners share the data and build those algorithms specific to India, we will always be relying on Western data for our predictive analysis, which probably is not a very good idea going forward. So those are my main points on that.
So thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Chufal. Quick comments from your side, please.
Yeah, I think screening, triaging and screening is something where actually the AI can help in a very big way, and probably that can scale to a situation where you can save lives, in population lives actually. Uh, but I'm not going to the screening part. I think Dr. Chandan will be a better person to dwell into it. The very important aspect of early detection is in a situation of opportunistic detection. So this is something which I came across a paper, which was a very interesting paper, where patient is being investigated for something else, but you have AI algorithm in place, and they get detected. This is known as opportunistic detections, and the X-rays of all the patients who came for a respiratory medicine kind of a OPD. But finally, out of those, over a period of 10 years, there was detection of almost 7 to 8% of lung nodules, out of which 25% of the nodules were malignant. So this is something which actually can be utilized. You don't have to have a very large or vast screening programs. You can just put these algorithms in the hospital for all the imaging modalities, and probably we can actually detect some other diseases early in these patients. Yeah.
So very interesting. So AI is, crossing borders. So one disease you get, you come for a disease, maybe you get something else. So that's what he's saying. Great. So Dr. Chandan, maybe we'll have your thoughts on that, because you are working on AIMS Delhi. You're handling a huge amount of critical patients. What do you think how AI is going to help in early diagnostics, early screening, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities? So can we have your opinion on that,
Yeah,
please?
this is a great question basically, and more important and more trust of AI in future will be in early detection of any sort of disease, not only cancer, maybe all like metabolic diseases, like all fatty liver diseases. How much of them will develop into liver like fibrosis and then liver failure. So I have a very fair a bit of experience working on screening of the role of AI in screening. So initially we worked with our the colleague urologist basically to find out the basically how the if you will like if you know about the prostate cancer and breast cancer, any cancer these days, there's there is a scoring system assigned for basically. So how to that scoring is basically varies from individual to individual, because one radiologist that has got a very inter-observer variability. So with then IIT Delhi, we develop a machine learning model where we train the model to give assign the risk stratification of those prostate MRI. And surprisingly, it has to be 95% accurate compared to doctors. Basically, doctors were 87% accurate, and we have like published all those. Similarly, with Dr. Malay, we have we have developed ultrasound screening model basically for detection of gallbladder cancer. So, gallbladder cancer is very common in northern part of the India, and where the Gangaji has gone. So this is called a very high risk belt. So it's called gallbladder cancer belt basically. So it's not common in southern part of India. So the ultrasound machines are available throughout the like India, but the ultrasound radiologist or is not there to actually qualified radiologists to perform an ultrasound scan. So basic our idea was that so if we train some technician and then can take at least a gallbladder image and send to us with our model, so we could identify a lot of gallbladder problems. Initially, we used the open source data. Then now we'll be verifying that data, that program we created with Dr. Malay. with our AIMS in-house data. We have already collected 5,000 ultrasound data for that. Similarly, we have like created a gallbladder cancer detection model with MIT also and with IIT Delhi also for not only diagnosis but the prognostication of the gallbladder cancer. So one of our colleagues are working on mammography to predict the early detection of breast cancer, and similarly, another of my colleagues is working on lung cancer detection based on X-ray and CT scan. Even just like our pathology colleague said, we have worked on uh, the AI train AI model. Depending on the radiology images, they can tell you about the histopathology report. For example, if there is a kidney mass, so if it is a cancer or not. So if it is a cancer, he will be knowing it is basically what type of cancer. Kidney cancer are different grades. And similarly, if we do a biopsy, a prostate like, so it has got different score called Gleason score. So we have trained our model to find out even Gleason score. So the AI has gone to that height basically. So in near future, basically the aspiration of India will be a role of the most important role of AI will be in the early detection of anything in prostate cancer, not only in the cancer, as I said, in the metabolic diseases also.
So great insights, and I think AI will have a great role in early detection, and that's must be the first thing AI should able to do. We're running some kind of time pressure, so what I'll do is that I'll shift the next question to this side. We had enough on that part. Maybe I'll ask Dr. Sujit about the trust. How much you trust. Let's say you train a model and you are generating a report or you're making a diagnostic. So I'll pass on the next question to Dr. Sujit. You are a doctor. I mean, I'm not sure how much you understand the maths behind it, and there are so many things behind it. So as a doctor, how you look into that? How do trust that AI? That is what we want to hear from you. And maybe Nidhi, if he has some trust issues, can you help him to can we have your comments to justify, like, from the engineering point of view, if the trust is actually maintained? So
Yeah, one small comment I would like to add regarding the screening. One screening tool which has been developed in the state of Uttar Pradesh, I was very much keen to discuss it, like Roshni. So it's a mobile app-based screening tool with the help of which pupillary images are taken, and with those cataract is identified, so that those persons who are going to be blind in due process of time, that cataract is identified and early treatment can be provided. And this kind of thing is very important as far as Indian perspective is concerned, where we have got a large number of population, large number of people. So screening at the level of doctors is going to be very difficult, because there are not so many doctors that they can be applied to the periphery to for the screening purposes. And with this kind of app, screening being applied for cataract, kind of a common condition, this is really helpful. Now, regarding the trust part, well, trust should be evidence based. Well, what happens that so far, whatever technology in the field of AI we are using, most of the data sets have came from the Western population. And when an AI tool is applied in a different population, the expected outcome may differ. So it is very important that when an AI tool is supposedly has been developed in the other part of the world, is going to be used in our country first, or in other hospital also, or other geography also, it should be locally tested and seen that what kind of results are being generated. Then second part comes that it should be continuously monitored over a period of time, like the output is being affected by the data drift. That is, if there is a change in the data, the output is coming similarly. And finally, the important thing is that the whatever output is being generated by an AI tool should be explainable. The doctor should know that how the output is being generated. So in future, if some kind of AI might be suggesting us good output, but if we are not understanding how this output is being generated, some mishap might happen. So these are the few things which I feel like should be there when we are using AI tools.
So Nidhi, how do you think? You are an engineer, so you are an AI engineer, so your comments, so that the audience and at large can have some kind of trust on the AI models being
Yeah.
trained with healthcare data.
Thank you, Malay. It's a great question. And if I talk about trust, earlier it was very difficult to trust AI. Honestly, the clinicians, doctors, they are not ready to trust it 100%, maybe 70% also no. Why? Because AI, not only for doctors but for engineers also, it's a black box. You give some input, it gives you some output. You have to rely on that. It was a black box. But with time, since last 3-4 years, the explainable AI is into picture, and it tells you the features that you are using, which feature holds what importance, and you want to increase or decrease the features, they are clustered or not clustered, the ways of the features. So with this explainable AI, not only engineers but also the doctors, they are able to understand that it's not a complete black box, and it has reasons why it is giving so and so output. So we have different plots by which we can make that black box as a explainable box, or I can say that black box is slowly moving towards white box. It has become gray, and with time it will become white also. And I also agree with Dr. Saab that when we have an AI system which is trained into western part of India, it may not give good results for the eastern part of India or maybe the central part of India, because there are um, with area the problems changes. So the problem changes, the symptoms changes. For example, I don't know how many of you are South Indians, but South Indian people, they have problem with their gums. Why? Because they don't chew hard food. They eat idli, they eat dosa, they eat vada, which are very soft. मूंगफली की पट्टी नॉर्थ में होती है. So the moment you give a mungfali ki patti to the South Indian, he or she will develop problems in the gums and teeth. So it varies with place. So whenever we are saying that we are training an AI system, or maybe we want to trust the AI system, one basic thing is we need to train our system on a diversified data. It has to come from north, south, central, eastern, everywhere. And not only the regions, it has to come from different age groups and different genders, males, females, children, and maybe age groups also. Because with past, you might have witnessed, for example, some diseases for heart patients or maybe stroke patients, they used to come at the age of 70, 60 plus, 70 plus. Now they are happening in 30 and 30 plus. If our systems are trained on the older data, which wherein the stroke or the heart disease occurs at 70, it will not detect the problem that's coming at 30. So once our the system is trained on a diversified balanced data, the output can be trusted, it can be made explainable. That's all.
Sir, I have a few questions from the panel, and if anyone is can voluntarily answer.
Yes, please.
It's just regarding what is the roadmap for scaling AI diagnosing to PHC or CHC centers in rural area. So, what is your recommendation? What is the low cost product which help really to be developed by our various youngsters, by our startup firms, so they can develop the ideas? Because in the field, if you assume a cold chain handler carries the vaccine and it will be frozen under the distinguished temperature like -8 to 2 degrees centigrade, if vaccine can be transport. So for that, even introduced. That is only for one person purpose. That is for cold chain vaccine management. So for the point of screening for rural India, how the villagers can be use the technology of AI, where the cost also involves in that matter. So easily everyone facilitate that technology, because if we use the technology, the cost also implies. And for village person who is handling at a PHC CHC level, not be able to use AI so much for that way. So my question is only, so what is your vision? What is your roadmap? So how India is developing that type of tools in rural PSC and CHCs?
See, here the initial the problem with AI is that once you try to incorporate into the existing health system, the cost. So as of now, most of the like AI programs are costly. So in initial integration, it will be costly. So probably government has to take the burden of that. And then, as you said, you have to go into the foot levels basically. So there are the ASA workers actually. So the technology should be like that. It has to be very simple also. As because it's a AI. So it has to be simple, easily usable by those ASA workers. For example, screening programs. So we government is using some tools to find out the maternal mortality rate, then the iron deficiency anemia status in the different rural areas, especially all the tribal belts, basically. So initially, the government has to think about that. For if it has go to the every nooks and corners of this country, and it has a cost because initial integration will be costly. But if it is developed under the ambit of the government, basically it's a government funded, just like government has funded a Vasni, that software for all those multi LLM development for all those different languages. So probably the first task has to come from the government side.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that's a very relevant question and important. Anyway, so we're coming to the close of this, discussion. Maybe one last question. Maybe mm, wait, just let me finish. Then audience will. Maybe this is the last question. We'll keep up. Like the question is, oh, what do you think? Like Dr. Chandan is handling a big institute. I mean, all of you are from handling. What may be the relevant challenges from the Indian scenario if you want to deploy AI? What are the challenges you see for a hospital to, in this mission? Because we are desperately trying to do that. India is already doing this India AI impact. So, what are the possible challenges? Can you make some of, can you mention some of the challenges that we'll have while deploying AI solutions in hospitals? So, can we have your input? Anyone, maybe anyone who can. Yeah, maybe you want to speak? Yeah, Dr. Chufal.
Uh, yes, the first one, if I would say, is data privacy and interoperability. So this is something which is basically a biggest stumbling block. What happens is the uh, you have a system already existing system in the hospital, and then you have one AI system which is doing something, then another AI system which is doing something. So clinically, it is not possible to have three systems in front of you, and you are seeing a patient and doing something here and doing something here. So there should be an interoperability. So there should be only one screen where everything is being done. Uh, Other than that, the adaptation. So you bring a technology, it's a very wonderful technology, but nobody is using it. So to educate the clinicians, because there is a huge gap between the clinician as well as the technical guys. So you have done your job, wonderful job, you have a very good model, but doctor doesn't understand how exactly it has to be used, when it has to be used. So this
Maybe
is something which is, yeah.
maybe I'm asking about the pipeline because you see, AI is not a single stakeholder business. There's a doctor involved. There is a data operator involved. It's a pipeline. It's an ecosystem. So, Dr. Chandan, how much are we ready? Do you think? Because
So I'm sure we are not ready because I feeling because we need to train all those our hospital staff first because when we are working on this X-ray model for reporting, so many of the people say they have to click on that. Basically, they said, "Ki, sir, I'm returning in 6 months. So what is the use of learning this right now?" Basically, so that attitude is still there. So moreover, the AI has to be humanized basically. So humanized AI with supervised AI basically, so that there's no trust deficiency, as the other colleague said. So humanized AI and then scalable AI, and then if we train our staff, maybe in that case, probably will be ready. Plus, when we give a solution, also the patient should not feel that okay, this machine is answering, the doctor is not helping me out basically. So that feel should not be there basically. So what happens basically whenever we use some digital voice calling from our institute from just to have a feedback. So they feel that they actually after getting the phone call, they said it's a answering machine or something like that. So let's cut the phone. But same problem. If my patient called up and asked, "Okay, hello sir, I'm calling from Dr. Sandan's clinic," and then they responded nicely. So that is also acceptability issue is also there. So probably as of now, I feel we're not ready. Maybe
so, because it's not only the clinicians, the healthcare is a big system. Maybe Dr. Sujit, quick thoughts from you, and maybe quick thoughts. Then maybe we can take up some questions from the audience. I mean, Madam is have was a question. Yeah.
So basically, the challenge presently in Indian scenario is that we need Indian models or the AI model trained by Indian data. We currently lack it, and for that,
So AI ready data is a big challenge.
data
You
is
may not have data in the which is ready to feed into the machines. Mostly we have in files and hard copies.
Because whatever output we are going to get depends on what kind of data with which AI model is being currently trained. And regarding your query, that what additional things or what additional thought processes which we can institute at the level of primary healthcare, because there is what we are lacking presently is that schemes like or AI models like thermalytics. It is a AI enabled device with the help of which uses infrared camera to identify or screen the possibility of breast cancer present. What it does, with the help of infrared rays are sent, and whatever heat signatures it captures, it tells the possibility that the person may not have breast cancer present. Now these kind of possibilities, these kind of solutions India needs, because our problems are different as far as Western population is concerned, from whom which presently we are basically getting most of the AI models.
Maybe last comment from Dr. Alok.
Absolutely. So I kind of look at it from a more bird's eye view. In the sense, I think Sir talked about interoperability. I think it's a very great point. But interoperability within a hospital is very different from interoperability between hospitals. And when you talk about AI algorithms being developed and putting into large scale use, scaling them up for population based studies, the hospitals have to get together, the healthcare institutes, the larger diagnostic centers, they have to get together, break those silos within the laws of the land, governance being there in place. And once you share that data and combine that data and build algorithms specific to our Indian population, I think that's the where we will be able to scale it up for our population. And ma'am talked about east, west, north, south. This is not possible with a single institution. It has to be work of institutions getting together from east, west, north, south, putting together the data, create an interoperability pipeline, and then create algorithms which will benefit, and of course keeping the logistics and the costs and everything into control within the governance. I think that is where I see the whole AI algorithm actually translating and transforming our healthcare going forward, sir.
Thank you. Nidhi, you want to share something to
Yeah,
say?
I'll just take one last minute and would like to answer your question as well and this data problem as well. For your question, already there are several schemes from the government which are currently being implemented. For example, in South, diabetic retinopathy or the cataract is being uh, done by app developed by Sundar Pichai.
Yeah,
So,
Google has massively
yes.
invested.
This Sir said Roshni is also there. Breast cancer detection is also there. Mobile vans are moving and they are helping women. There is also an app which a woman can use at in from her mobile in the house and detect that. That will cover the early detection. Secondly, as Sir said, it is not possible for the east, west, south, or center to come together and get the data. One institute cannot do it. I would recommend, as an AI engineer, Malay will also agree with this. As an AI engineer, we say that data is the fuel, data is the oil for our AI engines, deep learning engines. So, if we want to develop trust, if we want the AI to be, in the medical domain dominantly, then what we want is a good data. We want the institutional standardization for the data. For example, if I talk about a cancer or maybe just a simple throat infection, there should be a particular file in which the data should be recorded. And this should be done from a private clinic to the hospitals like RML, Gangaram, or any hospital of the South. The data format will be consistent: patient name, age, gender, symptoms, or maybe, if it is a skin disease.
Yeah,
What
we have to cut it short.
Yeah,
close
we
it.
have to standardize that data. So if all the institutes fill up that form and send the data or upload the data on a cloud platform, it can be easily integrated and make a big pool of data from across India. So if we have such kind of data, the AI machine is trustable, very much
Okay, so
trustable.
let us take some questions from the audience. This madam had a question. Can we take it from?
Mike, please.
You can introduce. You can introduce yourself, ma'am.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for such an interactive panel discussion. I'm Dr. Himlata Bhatia, and I'm a clinical geneticist who was leading Max Healthcare for 12 years. And right now, after my MBA, I'm actually the vice president for genomics for SRL Diagnostics, a very close competitor to Lal Path Lab.
Great.
Right. So the thing is that So I think one part of diagnostics which we really left out was genomics and AI, right? Now, there are three distinct parts in that. One is the clinician. As a clinician, I was seeing patients. So that is one part of AI where I can integrate. Second part is, of course, the diagnostics, the whole genomics and diagnostics. And the third part is, of course, the drug development, gene therapy, which I was working on. Now, as far as the diagnostic goes, my question is to Dr. Nidhi and Dr. Datta that what questions, because I've already worked on a lot of AI genomics and innovations, my question is that if suppose say some company or some organization comes to me for some integration of AI and all that in my organization, what are the precise concerns I should raise and what are the questions I should ask these companies so that I'm able to protect my company's data? I'm able to kind of, in a way that I can safeguard the privacy of DNA of my Indian population, and how I can kind of monetize that data. So that kind of stuff, so that is the question I want to know.
So you were talking about preserving. So we have some time. So you mean to say you want to preserve the secrecy of your data and still get a model trained for deployment? That's what, right?
Yes.
So see, this is not a easy question to handle because data will be required to be exposed to the model by any means. They're federated learning, but let me tell you like this. Once again, depends if are you using a language model or actually you are using R programming. I mean, what is the nature of data? These days LLMs can be trained with RAG models, RAG, retrieval augmented generate. So RAG is a vector database where you keep the data somewhere else and LLM keeps talking, integrating with the RAG to generate a response. It doesn't need a frequent fine tuning of the data every time. Now, if you have an option, when you can lock and key the RAG to yourself and the LLM is interacting with your RAG, there's an option. But to answer your question is we need a detailed, we have to give you a very detailed proposal. Federated learning has come up. There is federated learning, RAG models are there. But once again, you should understand, madam, once the data is fed into a model and the model is trained, it's a black box. Nobody can take anything. The data is anyway safe in a model. Please understand, whatever data you train, we say in our language, we say weights. We say 80 billion parameters. You've heard about this 80 billion parameters. Parameters are nothing but weights, and weights are some numbers. So these numbers makes no sense. Even if you deploy it, your competitor or anyone, they cannot decode anything out of it because they're anyway coded. So that's safe. I mean, it's like this. OpenAI has used New York Times data to train their model and giving output. Now, what the data of the New York Times magazine is saved in that AI, but it cannot be decoded and it cannot be pulled down. I mean, so that's how it gets.
Yes, but then if you realize there was a lot of
I think we have shortage of time. Huh?
Okay, fine.
Maybe any. But the question is very interesting. We can take it offline.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Guys, black box, gray, and then white.
Right.
Do we foresee any time then AI can do or respond on the critical queries without man in loop or without man in middle?
No, you see, what she was telling, that is something different. Let's say 5 years back, 6 years back, you do let's say an MRI scan or an ultrasound scan or any imaging scan, it will tell you grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 breast cancer. Today, what she was telling, let's say there are sharps, there are grade camps, there are explainabilities where the attention mechanisms where particular points of that images are color coded with red ink or some other ink, which actually, aligns with the diagnosis of a doctor. So that is what she was saying. So I think that's what she says, sharp models to make it more explainable. But what you were saying is, I don't think even if you say whatever you say, the future is exciting and uncertain. So it will be hard. But what you say, it may come up, but very uncertain, Nidhi.
It probably won't happen with anytime
Yes.
soon. Reason being, all of you are aware we do X-rays, right? The report is generated automated, but it is not given to you till the time radiologist sees the report, scan and sign it.
Correlated clinic.
Yes.
See,
So
I'll make a statement. I'll make a statement. Listen,
X-ray is long back. AI is now evolving. So
listen.
it
I'll
will
make
take
a
time.
statement. I'll make a statement. I am a pure AI scientist. My bread and butter is AI. But still, I will tell you something. Artificial intelligence in itself is a wrong term.
Yes.
Anything which is intelligent cannot be artificial.
Yes. It is as intelligent
Anything-
as we make it.
No. It is a maths. 80 billion parameters. So you do a GPT, you write in GPT what is the problem of Russia and Ukraine. 80 billion linear. For me, AI is linear algebra, forward propagation, error analysis, that is your probability, and a backpropagation, that is differential calculus. 3 mathematical operations happen, 80 billion mathematics operation will happen, and your GPT or your Gemini will return something. So it is only it's a mathematical model. AI is not intelligent. A great man coined the term artificial intelligence. I've got huge respect for him, but still.
So important question is not whether the doctors will be there or not. Important question is whether this AI can help doctors to save more lives. So that is the more important question.
AI is not a competitor.
In fact, if you hear the statement of Geoffrey Hinton, I think 10 or 11 years back, he told that radiologists will be out of job.
So
no, 4 years.
Nothing happened.
No, Elon Musk.
See,
Elon Musk also said the same thing.
the maximum AI is used in aviation industry. You know the pilot, the AI mode. But basically, when you after the taking, if you are going in a long flight, so it will go to the autopiloting mode. That is nothing but an AI mode. But now, how many of you will go into a flight without a pilot? And
It will not go.
and so AI will also be like this. Softwares will be also like this. It has to be humanized. It has to be
co-pilot.
that's why they are called
Complement, not compete. AI is only to complement.
thank
So
you.
thank you,
Thank
the
you
panelists from my side.
for your precious time. I request my colleagues to come forward and
I thank you,
give
the
the
my fellow
presentation.